some chess coaches and masters may hate me for this. But sorry guys, I need to do this for my lovely viewers. And the best that you guys, the viewers, can do to support this channel is by leaving a thank you message in the comment section down below, and also liking this video. Most importantly, subscribing to this channel and turning on the bell notification icon so that you don't miss any of my future uploads. Today I'm going to show you how to play simple basic chess against the Italian game. And you can find the link to this study PGN in the video description or in the comment section down below. All my study PGNs are free. As usual, you just go pawn to e5, equalizing on the center immediately. And after knight f3, you simply go knight c6. And if white plays bishop c4, which is the Italian, for now, I recommend you play the two knights defense with knight f6. One of the reasons why most amateur players avoid the two knights is that they fear the possibility for white to play the fried liver attack. So that's the first line we are going to address in today's video. And the second line that we are going to address is the normal pawn to d3 line, which I call the d3 Italian. And we're also going to cover the knight c3 line, and finally the most confrontational d4 line. So knight g5, what do? White is double attacking the f7 pawn. Again, play simple chess, go pawn to d5, because at least your pawn is defended twice by your knight and queen, but you don't need to take immediately on d5. Avoid going into tactics. So just go knight a5, solve the immediate threats that you see on the board. Don't try to go into some funny tactics hoping that your friend or your opponent won't see your dirty tricks or traps or whatsoever. That's not how chess works. Anyway, bishop b5 check is the top played move. Now wait, once again, c6 is the main move in this position. But again, if you are not good at solving tactics, these are kinds of lines you want to avoid. Play simple chess, so better go bishop d7. This poses a new threat on this bishop. I mean, if white takes, they are just helping you to develop quickly. Who knows, maybe you might even want to castle long, changing your strategy. Now wait, some beginners may be afraid of this move, pawn to b4, but that can't happen due to bishop takes. Simple board vision exercise. This is why we encourage people to solve chess puzzles and tactics. The more you solve puzzles, the more you get familiar with the board and the squares. Anyway, seeing that you are now attacking the d5 pawn twice and for nothing, most of your opponents are going to play knight c3 anyway. But what can they do? You just take, and after knight takes, you take back. If queen f3, it's up to you to exchange queens to go straight into the endgame, or play queen d7 and later on knight c6, bishop c5, and castle short. Anyway, castle short, h6, this here coming down is your yard, and that half of the board going up is your opponent's yard. Never should you entertain your enemy's pieces in your yard for too long. That's just a basic principle. So knight f3, let's say, it's up to you to go knight c6, bishop d6, followed by castle short, or just castle long immediately. This is one beauty about this type of two knights defense. So what have you learned so far? Simple chess, simple basic chess. Let's look at one last line involving the knight g5 variation, where you go pawn to d5 immediately, and after pawn takes, you attack that bishop. By the way, if bishop b3, you just take. If bishop b5 check, again, remember to go bishop d7. Anyway, people nowadays don't even take this light squad bishop. They play something like queen e2, waiting for you to take so that they take, they activate their pieces. But as you can see, you have no major threats in your territory. Whenever white makes a move, try to identify your weaknesses in your territory, inside your yard. So you just go bishop d6 in this case, you see, defending that. And if pawn to d4, let's say an aggressive move, you know what? Chess puzzles and tactics will make it easier for you to spot moves like castle short in this position, because you know that if pawn takes happens, that will just be a free pawn. I mean, white can't take with a queen due to rook e8. All this knight e6, adorable. I didn't see that. Nope, I did. First, we can take that knight for free if we want, or better play bishop takes b5, so that even if knight takes happens, we have rook takes e5 with check. At the end of the day, we are going to emerge with a clear piece up. Again, don't forget, the link to this study PGN is in the description down below or in the comments section. Anyway, let's look at a different line. Instead of knight g5, another move you might see is pawn to d3. And this is one beauty about the two knights defense, flexibility. First, let me quickly show you to the main line, bishop c5, standard way of playing. The only thing in this line though is you need to prepare yourself against the gioco pianissimo, c3, d4 ideas and all that. So c3 is the top played move, after which you can play d6, it's fine. Also s6 makes a lot of sense. Even cast a shot, we are still talking about the flexibility aspect here. So most people play d6, which is fine. If they don't play d4 and d takes, I mean, you have all the time to play bishop b6 now, so that after d4 you even consider taking or playing queen e7, one of my favorite moves in chess, because now you are not going to exchange queens. If moves like bishop g5, for example, you have h6, and if bishop that, never be afraid of bishop h4 ever again due to pawn to g5. They always lose this pawn. I mean, this time you don't even have to take due to rook e1 in the near future. And this is another reason why we delay castling short, by the way, because we do not mind sacrificing the pawn on g5. This is another line you need to memorize over and over if you are an e4, e5 player. You just play h4 and that dark square bishop is dead. Even if they play bishop takes f7 check, it doesn't even matter. Okay, you can play king d8, whatever you do is okay. So king f8 is what I choose. There's nothing white can do. They may try pawn takes, attacking the knight. De can work here, still trapping that bishop. Simple chess, remember? But at my level, I find hg to be more solid, because if ef happens, now I would play bishop takes. Tactics only for advanced players. If king h1, met. If rook takes, I take with tempo on f2, so that after king takes, queen takes f6 check comes with another tempo. If knight f3, I win the bishop. If queen f3, either ways I win the knight, because whatever white does won't worry me, I'll be safe. There's no checkmate due to king d8. Don't try this at home, play simple chess. Now in my next video, I'm going to show you my new bishop b4 research, which works well in the d3 Italian. By d3 Italian, I mean the normal Italian game where white plays pawn to d3 on the fourth move. For now, let's stick to bishop c5. But just like I stated, you need to be aware of this move, pawn to d4. If this happens, in this case, you can play bishop b6, and after pawn takes, the main line here is knight g4. You need to sacrifice this pawn on d6, because you have bishop takes or knight takes on f2. So I mean, white won't have time to take due to, you know, this fork. You're going to walk away with a piece. By the way, there's no pawn takes due to, I mean, checkmate. So what do people do here? Some go aggressive with a move bishop takes f7, but again, you can just take. Even if they go queen d5 check, rescuing one piece, hoping that you blunder like this, I mean, solve the immediate threats that you see. Here you can just go king back to e8 and you are safe. There are no any punish checks. This time, if knight g5, you can even play queen f6 or even queen takes d6 immediately, because I mean, who knows, maybe you might even checkmate your opponent in this way. Pep. That's why you shouldn't be afraid of playing pawn to d6 anyways. After pawn takes, you go knight g4. That attacks the f2 pawn. So every advanced player in this position casts short. And after that, that's when you can simply take back on e5 with your g knight. This is the end of the line. So whenever you face the gioco pianissimo, which is this on the board, d3, c3, start thinking of the Budapest gambit line, where there's a possibility for white to take on e5, allowing you to go knight g4, the same knight move that you make even in the Budapest. Case closed. Another line that you're going to see after setting up your two knights defense initial position is pawn to c3. Now this is called the Ponziani opening Newman gambit. Sometimes what you do if you don't know a specific opening or a gambit, just play solid chess. Avoid taking anything that you see. For example, here I may consider playing knight a5 immediately. Also bishop e7 makes a lot of sense, or even pawn to d6. So if I don't want to lose anything, I can just play bishop e7 here, because I know if pawn to d4, I simply have d6. That is if I just want to play normal chess. And if pawn takes, I would win back that pawn like this. This time queen e2 doesn't make sense due to knight c5 and knight e6. You always have this knight maneuver and it's great. If pawn takes, you can even take back with your queen if you want, or with your knight, or with your bishop. Actually, I love taking back with a bishop because I know queen e2 is a sheer waste of time due to castle short once again. You don't need rocket science to see this simple pin. So c3, bishop e7, d4, d6. If pawn takes, you don't even have to take and exchange queens. You have an option to take on e4. That's all you need to know. Now lastly, we'll look at the knight c3 line. Remember, you started with the 2 knights defense, and now this has transposed to the 4 knights game Italian variation. And one golden rule in the 4 knights Italian is, as long as you don't have a bishop on c5, you can freely take on e4, because after knight takes e4, you simply have d5. If white wants to continue playing an eagle game, they have to play bishop d3, the book line. If they take, they are kind of allowing you to develop or activate your pieces towards the center of the board. So they play bishop d3 here, after which you take, and after bishop takes, you don't need to rush with moves like bishop f5. I mean, you're just going to remain with a weird pawn structure, right? Be extra patient when it is time to eat. Anyway, here the move bishop d6 makes a lot of sense. So now, say what if white takes? Well, they are just giving up their bishop pair. In most cases, these doubled pawns along the c file are advantageous for black in the Italian game. Same thing that we see even in the Paris defense. We do not mind having these doubled pawns along the c file. This pawn will be exchanged with white's d pawn in the long run. So after castle short, you can simply castle short. Besides, you still have your bishop pair, so that is justifiable. If d4, you can even advance your e-pawn. Say knight e5, that's what people do. Now you get rid of your weakness like this. I said it, we normally exchange that pawn with that. Anyway, you have moves like bishop b7 in the near future, queen f6. And I mean, you're just way ahead in development if you think about it. If you want to make things interesting, after playing bishop c5 and d3, you may consider playing h6 first to stop bishop g5, very important. If they do the same, the rule is not just to rush with castle short before white does that. You may play pawn to d6, see what they want to do. If knight a4, you have bishop b6. If castle short, it's up to you to castle short as well. Or now go knight a5. Because after bishop b3, you intend to take, but only after s6. This is another idea to master. Bishop e3, knight takes, pawn takes, and rather than taking to help white activate their rook, here is a new idea for you guys, queen e7. This is for those of you who don't love exchanging queens very early in the opening stage. d4 can be met with pawn takes, or even better, bishop b4. In my opinion, the whole idea of queen e7 is to allow this trade to happen so that you still remain with 2 pawns on the center of the board. Very soon you will play pawn to c6, stopping knight d5 for good. And I mean, that's the whole reason we delay castling. Anyway, let me not spoil it much for people who purchase my e4, e5 courses like the Paris defense course. But this is more than enough for you guys. Play basic chess and your life will be good.